top of him. That was his job. And look, it was a beauty in its simplicity.
Yeah, it was something magical to watch, and immediately Top Esports are like, you know what? Let's not play against Aatrox again. Let's just never play against Aatrox again. They're still happy with the Samira pick, saying this was not the problem with the draft. There were other issues elsewhere.
I'll be curious to see now what we'd see Bin instantly going towards that Camille. So this is actually something that we've kind of swapped up from SUNING. They used to go as heavily in towards an early pick for Bin. They used to kind of leave him down towards the counter pick, nearly that 5th pick on red side. But they're just like, look, Camille is super strong at the moment. She pairs super well with a bunch of junglers like Talia, the Pantheons, the Olafs. Like, she can set up ganks super well. So they're just like, cool, Bin, we know how good you are mechanically. Let's just get you onto this Camille on the top side.
Yeah, and, you know, Camille incredibly strong right now as well. She's one of those picks that does incredibly well against most of the meta top laners. So, fantastic pickup for Bin. It's something he's exceptionally good on. We discovered that across the course of last year. So, I'm excited for what can come through with that one. Also, Hwangfang the Kai'Sa, which he got MVP last game. You can't complain too much, except we now have Alistair Samira on the side of Top Esports. This is a S+++ tier bot lane duo. It's incredibly difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and oftentimes we'll see the Alistair below that flash level 1 just to get that aggressive lane setup where you can get a lot more out of the combo further along the line, forcing the Kai'Sa to play uber defensive. And of course, because it's a knock-up, cleanse don't work for you. So you got to try and figure out some other way of dealing with this. The big thing as well is, if we do see a very aggressive jungler coming out from Kai'Sa, the level 6 from Alistair just ramps up that Terror Dive potential so well with the Unbreakable Will. So expect to see them play very heavily down again towards that bot side and trying to get that ball rolling. We do though have a nice pickup for 369 in the top lane. The Jax coming in. Jax does very well into the Camille and will look to outscale that matchup as well with just how strong he is. So this is where at least 369 is going to be able to fight back a little bit better than he was in just the poke orientated Karma matchup in last game.
We also have an early jungle pick here for SOFM with the Lilia, and it means that they now have the opportunity to just ban a couple of matchups that SOFM doesn't want to deal with on this Lilia, and will be able to get himself a favorable kind of farming matchup and maybe impact the game later on. We do have, as you said, that Jax versus Camille in the top lane. So Top Esports do have an opportunity to ban some supports here from On, and the Galio is taken off the board.
I actually think that's a mid lane ban. So the thing about when we see Camille's, oftentimes we see it paired with a lot of combos. So it's like the Jarvan jungle, the Galio. So when Camille goes in aggressive, she's got that dive buddy. There's a lot of these tools that are used to set up Camille in team fights. And Galio is one of those big blatant tools that Angel can play very well and nullify Knight in a matchup as well. Specifically if he wants to go back towards something like the City.
And also Twisted Fate, right? That's another one that has historically been paired up with the Camille. It's available. We know Angel's quite happy to play it. So Top Esports, if that is a ban towards Angel, probably should ban the Twisted Fate as well. But whether or not that is the case, looks like they are going to ban something for On instead to make sure that Jackie Love and Drow have a really strong matchup in that bottom side.
Yeah, there's still plenty you can work with here in this bot lane though. I mean, Thresh is up and available. Even Set can do relatively well into this bot lane matchup as well. And just being able to punish the Samira anytime she goes aggressive. So I think there's still a lot available for On. It's just trying to feel out what he's comfortable with.
All right.
Okay, Maokai support.
Maokai support. Maokai support. So this is so annoying.
This is a pain to deal with. So I've seen a lot of people that have picked this up and gone towards Imperial Mandate, where you go towards the likes of the Emacs and you get a lot of poke off. But either way, Imperial Mandate with the amount of CC that's in Maokai's kit is super nice. And then you can even go towards a tankier build if you really want to, or if you're going full solo queue, all the AP damage that's available. I think though we'll see a little bit of a tankier build coming through from the Maokai in this regard. On the opposite side though, Kai'Sa, you have a lot of those mainstay junglers banned away with the likes of Graves, the Lilia, Pantheon and Talia off the board. So he's going to fall down a tier essentially towards that Hecarim. But still, when you look at the amount of setup that's on this team and how well he pairs with the likes of the Alistair and this Orianna, he should be able to do relatively well for himself.
So we do have the Hecarim locked in for Kai'Sa, and now it's just going to be what Angel locks in. The Victor is going to be there. And again, fairly neutral matchup in the mid lane. But importantly, as soon as JackeyLove tries to ult, he can just drop that the Chaos Storm on top of him and just say, no, you don't get to ult, you don't get to clear up my team, and just one-shot him from that point on. So very nice pickup for Angel. Looked fantastic in game number 1, so rinse and repeat there for him in game number 2.
And it's a pretty nice matchup for him in the mid lane as well. I mean, Orianna, yes, is a lane bully and can do pretty well against the Victor, but it's not like he's going to be under a huge amount of threat. He can just look to farm this one out. The mid jungle 2v2 is pretty much meh because you don't really have much in the way of CC either side. So either way, you're kind of looking at, hey, look, Angel, just farm it out. Same with Knight, and instead have our junglers put pressure elsewhere. And in my eyes, I imagine that we're going to see Karsa play both towards that bot side to try and get JackeyLove rolling, but certainly trying to get 369 rolling as well, because this Jax can take over in the Camille matchup. He will outscale as well, so if you can get a couple of early kills going the way of 369, he can outperform Bin, very quickly take over the lane himself, and then that creates so much more pressure in the map elsewhere where SUNING may not be able to deal with it.
Yeah, you have to remember as well that that top lane matchup, especially in the early stages, is a skill matchup. This is not just like a Jax wins 24/7 kind of situation. If the Camille plays well around the Counter-Strike, it's very winnable for the Camille, at least in the early stages. So I'm excited to watch these guys go head-to-head. They were our head-to-head coming into the series, and it's an exciting matchup to watch them on. This is going to be a matchup and a half, Dagda, as SUNING right now currently 1-0 up in the series. A lot of people were predicting a Top Esports 2-0, and now Top Esports have had to go back to the drawing board. They checked the game plan, and it was like, go in. So they've drafted a composition that goes in. We're on to Summoner's Rift once more for game number 2 here, Dagda.
I want to take a quick moment to look at the way these compositions interact, because you are right, like Top Esports want to go in, specifically when they get kind of that 2-item spike coming through from Karsa, and also Knight having finished off the Luden's Tempest. You got the Immortal Shield Bow from JackeyLove. SUNY, though, have a really strong comp against that. I mean, Huanfeng has some self-peel coming through with the Killer Instinct. Maokai is great against teams that try to go aggressive because it makes it very easy to get that ultimate and shut down a lot of the aggressiveness that's coming at you. And then as well, when you look at Lilia, like, if she's able to have a team that's running at her, she can kite back, she does really strong work there, but also gives the opportunity to turn on a time and find these big sleeps.
We'll see if those sleeps can be found, if the follow-up is going to be there from the rest of the squad. I don't know why the runes are in the wrong order. That's really hurting my brain. They're in the draft order by the looks of things. So, but hey, we get to see the runes, so that's a positive. We take those. You can see SFM starting things off on the top side of the map. Actually started with his Krugs here, while on the opposite side you've got Karsa, who he didn't start with his Krugs. What am I talking about? He starts with his red, but on the opposite side we saw JackeyLove and Drow going for a leash for their jungle.
And I mean, look, it's not going to... Both these guys are going to clear fairly quickly. It's not going to be at the end of the world either side. And again, I don't think we're going to see very much action in these early stages. You can even see it from Angel's runes, if anyone caught it was. He's gone for the boots and the biscuits. This is like full scaling mid laner where you're not really trying to go overly aggressive, as he takes a very nice trade. But basically the biscuits mean you can sell them for a bit of extra gold, you're getting free boots, you even don't even have to buy pots, although he does have the corrupting potion there. So overall, like, mid lane is just looking to scale it out. Same when you look at these junglers, they want a bit of time before they really get into it. The only caveat I'd put on that is maybe with the CC that is available in this top lane, we might see the junglers visit there, but it'll be a little bit of time before that.
So you can see how this Jax versus Camille matchup works a little bit as well. As soon as 369 goes for the Counter-Strike, you'll see Bin go for his hook shot, wall shot, and it's not to just jump away from him. He goes for the stun and then steps out of the range of the Counter-Strike. So it's a very intricate little matchup, but it's all about trying to get the corrupting potion stacks for the side of 369, and if he can, all in. And it's all down, the pressure's on Bin basically to be able to avoid the all in each and every time.
Yeah, so what I'd like to see Bin do in this matchup is go towards more of a teamfight orientated build, get like the Divine Thunder into Hysteric's Gauge. I mean, oftentimes you'll see like the Ravenous Hydra or something come through, but honestly I think going for this more tankier orientated build, like working alongside the rest of the team to just disrupt these fights, I think is going to work a lot better for Suning. Whereas on 369 side, I mean, Divine Thunder just works so well for Jax. The mythic passive that gives you both the armor pen and that magic pen with how much mixed damage 369 does, he's going to be an absolute monster in these side lanes.
You see 369, speaking of, has actually just been forced back to base here by Bin. Excellent pressure coming out from Bin in that top lane, using the grasp as well very effectively. 369 changes his mind. He had a biscuit in his inventory, so he's just going to proc that. Decides he can't afford to go back and teleport this early. Needs to catch this wave first.
I mean, he'll be fine. Bin isn't capable of diving right now, and as we said, look, Lilia is not going to be a champion that's coming up overly aggressive. Still, maybe 369 should be taking as much damage as he is right now. Been doing a really good job to get those grasp the Undying procs.
I don't know how right you are that he's not capable of diving, because he looks like he's threatening it, and Bin has been more than willing to find himself 1v1 kills in the top side. He's going for it, jumps on in the counter-strike, actually gets the stun under the tower. Bin takes 2 shots there, and I think 369 will get away with this one.
Still though, I mean, 369 did manage to pick up a lot of those creeps, and crucially the experience from them as well, so he's not falling behind. Angel though, this ain't the way this is gonna go. He's been shoved entirely away from his tower, and this is a really good sign for Knight that he's able to get such a strong lead in this mid lane matchup already. Angel shouldn't have as tough of a time. He's got that long range coming through from the E where he can play far back, and already Carson invading. But you don't have the support of Knight there, so he's going to back away.
Yeah, he's going to be forced to back away. Swapfox just free hitting onto Jackie Love. I think Jackie Love did get the tower plate, though, so he's going to call Worth in all chat for that one. 160 gold in his pocket. And you can see, oh, Swansea so close to stopping the recall there. It was on a ward, but it just catches the wall.
So I actually missed that Knight had backed and TP'd into the lane. So he had that extra Dorans coming in to try and bully out Angel in that mid lane. So now that Angel has backed, he's picked up an Amplifying Tome for himself. I think I would have preferred to see him go towards the Doran's Ring as well, just so that then he can try and match the damage from Knight and the Orianna. But I can understand, look, he's opted in towards this heavy scaling with his rune choices. So he's just all in on getting towards that late game point. And look, if I have to lose some CS to turret, I'm getting bullied a little bit, he's just going to take it on the chin.
This is going to be SOFM starting us off with the Drakes here, as he's able to just solo out the first one. No contest whatsoever from the side of Karsa. He was on the top half of the map. And Angel maybe finds himself ganked, but should be able to just walk away from this one realistically. Actually, Shockwave going to be used. Doesn't have to flash though. Gets away, gets the stun onto Karsa. Ultimately, SOFM does get the dragon, and it's at the cost of nothing for Sue.
In this matchup, I don't mind using the Shockwave as a force out of lane because you don't have the kill threat, but maybe some kills coming in over this.
Suning actually puts Karsa to sleep there on that one. Dro going to be pushed away by the Maokai as well. Wongfong is here. I'm kind of confused at the... It felt like Suning really wanted to fight that, but also really didn't want to fight that. And they kind of were umming and ahhing about it.
Yeah, I'm glad they realized that they didn't want to fight it. Because, look, as we just said, Knight had just used the Shockwave mid to kick Angel out of lane. Like, this is kind of how you want to use your Shockwave in this matchup, is just about getting that CS and experience lead. Because, honestly, as you're not going to be able to kill just 1v1. But it does mean that they're able to move in towards River, get that scuttle pressure. And Suning, we're always going to be at a man disadvantage. So I'm surprised to see them even commit resources to it instead of just backing away. But they do at least learn not to go for it rather than hard committing, which is at least the saving grace in that scenario.
Bin's just waiting for his opportunity. So far, so good for 369 in this top side. Does have a minor CS lead, but it's been going fairly even. And Bin, I would say, has been quite impressive on this Camille in this matchup, and will offer a lot of threat later on into the game. It's important to mention as well that while classically when you think of Camille and Jax, you think, okay, split push, right? That's the first thing that comes to your mind. But both of these champions are incredibly good team fighters as well. So when we're getting to the later stages, I'm not expecting them to just sit in the side lane. I'm expecting them to be with the squads.
I agree, and I think what we'll see is that Bin is... Ooh, hang on. That's going to be okay. If Zhou was closer...
He's a tree.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, because if Zhou was closer, he could have gone for the Flash Headbutt Pulverize, and you've got a lot of damage there that can come through very quickly, especially for the AP now, guys.
Speaking of damage here, we've got SOFM moving towards the top side. Does not have the ultimate available, I think. There's some damage onto
very
369,
soon,
who's just staying in the 2v1 here. Counter-Strike goes on through, dodged by Bin, though. That was a beautiful ultimate coming out. SOFM now trying to get away, is going to drop the sleep onto Karsa, but the fear is magnificent, and Bin's going to go down too. Karsa rampages his way through a double kill. Now we're going to find the bottom side as well, as JackeyLove goes in, should have the ultimate available, but the exhaust means On walks away.
369 will give us life, but it's for the greater good. Getting the double kill there for Karsa, and again, top esports, they do get the ball rolling early with the 2 quick kills, and bot side is bullying very heavily here. On is in danger, and especially as we talked about Zhou hitting that level 6, has the unbreakable will available. They can potentially look for the dive, but we're going to see the repeat here. At these early stages, Lilia doesn't have a huge amount of damage. Same when you look at Bin. Like, there's just not a lot that they can do in this scenario. Yeah, there's a little bit of poke in that. But honestly, the all-in potential is not there. And 369 reads this beautifully. He understands, hey, look, I'm going to be able to get the Counter-Strike. And don't forget, for Counter-Strike, it's not only blocks autos, it also reduces the damage you take. So he's able to survive for so incredibly long when SUNING commit for the all-in. And it gives time for Karsa to get up towards that top lane and get the top.
But let's be honest, that was all about Karsa. Being able to use the Onslaught Shadows as the sleep from SOFM comes in. So he effectively doesn't get CC'd, and also Bin is feared the entire time, so he doesn't get to get the damage out of SOFM's ultimate. Beautifully done. Grabs himself a double kill. Now with the Rift Herald, he really wants Bin to get out of this top lane. Gonna force him away, and if he wants to, can drop the Herald in the top lane.
And we said this already. Top esports are going to want to get 369 ahead. It's been a winning formula for them in a lot of situations. But also, this matchup specifically, just getting this Jax nice and set up means he can take over. Side lanes very quickly turn in favor of top esports. And then it becomes easier for the rest of the team to operate, because Bin is under consistent pressure from 369 and won't be looking for flank opportunities onto vulnerable members like Knight in the back line.
Karsa is stood on a ward right now. He's sticking around. Doesn't look like he actually wants to use the Herald here if he can help it. He wants to go give that to a different lane. I wouldn't be surprised to see him drop it in the bottom side instead. Give that gold over to JackeyLove, try and get that move in. Or, alternatively, he could put it in the mid lane as well. Just try and crack this mid lane open, try and get Knight snowballing a little bit.
True, but I honestly would like to see it either top or boss. Like, Knight is great, but you're not going to be able to do too much. Like, Orianna is not really a skirmish champion. She likes big team fights, but if you're in like a 2v2 or a 2v3, she can provide some stuff with a shockwave, but because of how long her cooldowns are, not great. I'd rather see them instead use that pressure to snowball the other lanes, because Knight's going to be just farming up. Get 369 ahead, get JackeyLove ahead as well. Specifically, you can get very quickly through this Immortal Shield Bow into Collector. That 2-item spike is so strong for Samira, and something top esports can look to play around.
So it looks like it is going to be Cloud Soul this game, which I think unilaterally agreed upon that it is the worst soul in the game. So unfortunate for our two teams here. Turret plate is picked up by JackeyLove, and On tries to force the engage there, but it's just not happening. Nice little dash coming out from JackeyLove to pull it all away from the tower. And Karsa is consistently behind enemy lines here, waiting for his opportunity. He is going to drop the Herald towards the mid lane here, just trying to find an opportunity to get some extra presence. Could try and look for the dive, I guess, here. I don't think they'll be able to finish this tower off unless they really commit. SOFM now going to be the target as he's taken so much damage. Karsa's basically 1v1'd him, and Knight sweeps up the kill. Honor's arrived, has a lot of CC, but there's just not enough damage out from Angel. Karsa walks away, but he's taken down Huanfeng, the hunter in the jungle.
JackeyLove didn't flash to take it. He could have taken the bullet for him, but no, it doesn't get in the way. And a nice snipe coming through from Huanfeng. So at least it's going to be the 1-for-1. Both junglers going down when all is said and done, with a lot of that gold being funneled in towards both Karsa and Knight off the plate. 369 though, I mean, I wanted to see the Rift Herald use top to get him snowballing. He's just kind of doing it himself.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. That's why Karsa decided in the end not to. Angel, nice flash on the headbutt there. I think that's why, though, Karsa didn't go for the Herald on the top side. It's just that 369 doesn't need it. He's going to get the plays by himself, and there's not a whole lot Bin can do about it. Knight might be able to finish his tower off, but he's not going to commit. It's deceptively tanky. There's still a plate there, so in 40 seconds, maybe that one goes down instead.
I want to point out something very different that we're seeing from Zhou. As opposed to Yanja. Like, how many times did you see Yanja up top side try to look to support 369 or going for these plays mid? Like, they just didn't happen. And this is something that I've really liked about Zhou, both from Demacia Championship and we're seeing in this series as well. His ability to read, hey, look, you know what? Jackie Love has got the lane frozen in a certain spot, or he's not going to be under a huge amount of pressure here. Let's get out of lane. Let's get control of this river. Let's make those plays towards mid, and let's emphasize the pressure across the map, rather than just being stuck hand in hand with Jackie Love. And this is something that I think top esports are going to be able to use quite a bit to snowball players like Knight and even 369 in the top.
Pins here alongside SOFM as they try and stop the snowball onto 369 here. Hextech Ultimatum keeps him in the fight, but the counter-strike and the damage onto SOFM. Sleep onto the Jax, but is it going to be enough? Apparently, yes. It's 1-for-1 now as each of them goes down. Carso once again arriving late to the party and sweeping up the kills.
Joe's having a round. Knight is moving with him.
On does have his W available. Carso goes underneath the tower and takes a tower shot for his trouble as well. In they go and Bin grabs the kill, but Knight is here to try and answer for the situation. A lot of damage available on this Orianna as he looks for Bin, walks away but gets taken down by the W. It's answered. Zhuo walking away, but Huanfeng cleans it up with a double kill, and it's Suning who come out on top.
SUNING doing an amazing job of turning that around. Huanfeng reading that there was going to be the play on the top side, forgoes bot lane, walks up towards the top lane and manages to get some kills for himself. However, you are seeing that bot lane answered. Jackie Love did stay down there, so he's able to get the turret for himself. 369, unfortunately, even with all the pressure he's creating, hasn't been able to get the kills in his favor. And overall, it kind of works out even Steven, to be honest, on both sides, when you add in the gold from towers and the kills that have gone back and forth.
The one thing I will say, though, is Huanfeng's got 3 kills. He's feeling pretty good once again on this Kai'Sa. But let's take another look at how it all went down.
Yeah, this is unfortunate from Joel. I think he was trying to catch off on, or at least get the flash into the headbutt, but just missed out on the range there. And this is what we were talking about with Knight, is that even though Knight does go in aggressive, those long cooldowns coming into play on the Orianna, not quite able to get the damage that he wanted to off. And they do get baited in a little bit there. 369 though, still having a lot of support here from the rest of the team. Like, top esports are all in on this top side of the map right.
Yeah, honestly, they are really trying to get 369 snowballing. And I can understand why, right? This guy is an absolute monster, but he's fallen a little bit behind. He's up in CS, right? He's up. Well, I guess they're even in experience right now, but when it comes to kills, it's been Bin that's been sweeping him up in these fights in the meantime. Huanfeng crashing another wave to the bottom side. We've got a pick here. 369 has gone way too far, trying to get the crux of the enemy here, and Bin can't actually chase him down. He's not available. Will be able to get it eventually, but I don't think he can catch up to 369, who's just going to run into River. Castle will be there in the river to save him. I cannot believe he got away with that, Dagda.
Yeah, I'm surprised he actually get away with that one. Way over. Oh, he didn't though, did he?
I don't think that they can chase for this one. Yeah.
The thing here though is they still have control over this top side though. So as long as you still stop the backs here as SOFM and maybe get the kill. Get the kill. Cool. I mean, look, this is why I love SOFM. Just chase him down, but here's Karsa, because every time you die, here's top lane, Karsa gets a kill.
Yeah, Karsa is looking for more sweep-up kills to the top side of the map here. Gets one for himself. Bin realizes what's happening and just legs it, because Jackie Love's on the way as well, but there's no tower here. Jackie Love can keep chasing for this one. Karsa is on the way. Rampage will be available again in just a second. Bin with the thumbs up, but he slides away on the hook shot, and he's going to get out of it.
SUNING, every time they make a play top, just have to pay the Karsa tax. Like, that's the way it works. It's like, you go, oh, okay, we got a bit of gold, here's our tithe to the top esports jungler. At least, in that respect, they managed to get the kill on to SOFM. I liked what SOFM was doing in trying to stop these backs, because you can turn that pressure in towards that top lane tower, but unfortunately, because SOFM had gone down, Karsa was able to come in with the ghost and shut down the potential for them to take that top lane structure.
All right, let's kind of recap for a second here, Dagda, where we're at in the game, because this has been a little bit all over the place with how the two teams are playing this one. It's 6-7 in kills, but it's top esports with a huge gold lead, 4,000 up right now. They've got one Drake for themselves, and they're looking for a second one here. Bear in mind, Karsa also has that Rift Herald available. most of the gold that they gained for themselves was in the turret plate. So it might not look it on the scoreboard, but JackeyLove is actually way ahead of Wanfeng when it comes to actual gold, because he got 4 turret plates for himself on top of the CS.
And there's a couple of like big item breakpoints that we're starting to see come through as well. Like when you look at Knight, he has finished the Archangel Staff. Usually we actually see the Luden's Tempest finished in a lot of situations, but he's just holding on to that lost chapter. It looks like he doesn't want to fully finish off his mythic item quite yet. And then when we look over towards the likes of SFM, he's got that Moonstone Renewal as well.
We saw a huge trade on the top side here where Suning were trying to punish for Castle going in the bottom side of the jungle. But they didn't even get the Wolves. Even 369 managed to stop the Wolves. They get a tier 1 in the top lane. But in the meantime, Top Esports get a Herald. So they get a tier 2 in the bottom side of the map. This is beautiful macro coming out from top.
And it's massive as well because of the ability for 369 to put pressure down towards that bottom side. When you've got such a heavily favored top lane matchup, you can just expose that bot lane, use the pressure that you've created where you probably have to draw multiple members from Suning over to deal with Jax in the long run, move that back over towards mid, get that mid lane tier 2. Now it's very easy to go towards that top lane tier 2 as well, pressure towards Baron. Like, this opens up a lot of the map for Top Esports and a ways for them to exploit this matchup coming up.
Ooh, stun onto Casa. There's a lot of damage from Wanfeng as well. That's an easy kill, and now onto 369. We'll be able to get the stun onto 1, I think, there, but he's taken down. Bin with a double kill. That should be a couple of towers, but the answer now from Top Esports as they run straight at the mid lane.
I don't know how long they can stick around, though. You can see Suning are collapsing.
Wait, you can... How is Maokai ult a projectile? Anyway, onto JackeyLove they go. Stun comes on through. Exhaust is there, but Bin flashes straight after him to try and shut this kill down, but the lifesteal is there, and Bin can't shut it down. Angel's the one to fall instead. Now Bin trying to retreat once more as Duo is there, trying to get onto SOFM. Flash forward onto JackeyLove, but the lifesteal is just insane. JackeyLove somehow surviving. Gets the ult, but he goes down eventually, and Duo is finished off. Another double for Bin.
God, that was too close to call. The fact that Suning had the man advantage and still end up nearly trading everyone's life there just shows how mechanically strong Top Esports are. But that big play came from Knight. Everyone jumped, well, Knight and JackeyLove, because everyone on Suning put all attention towards the Samira. They wanted to shut her down. They knew that she was a consistent damage in this scenario. But Bin and On overextend, and that means that then you've got Knight, who's free hitting on this back line. He is massive. He has hit that 2-item spike with the Luden's Tempest and that Archangel Staff that I was trying to highlight, saying that this is the point that Orianna really steps online, and you can see the results. He tears through Suning.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrifying, and I mean, he's got 7 kills. He's got a Triforce, he's got a Hydra. Bin is going to be a nightmare to deal with. We talked about, you know, Jax is going to scale into the game. He's going to be the terror in the side lane, blah, blah, blah. Not anymore. Not when you've got this much of a lead on Bin. 369 cannot 1v1 the Camille lane.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, is that, like, although Knight looks huge, the result is that Bin is absolutely massive now. See, he's got the Triforce, he's gone towards the Ravenous Hydra, he's actually gone towards that split push build. I was saying earlier, maybe go towards the Divine Sunder and the Sterks Gauge, because you can then look to team fight. But he's going, nah, but I believe with these 7 kills I can fight.
Hang on, he's just found himself in a 1v4, so 7 kills or not, Bin, you're gonna go down there. That's a huge shutdown as well, so massive injection of gold to the side of Top Esports. I believe that was Knight that got the kill, if I'm not mistaken. So, fantastic pick. Now they can teleport in. They're looking at Baron. This is a huge blunder on the side of Suning.
And it's very easy for them to turn as well. Zhou can hide off on this bot side, as you can see here, baiting in Suning, and with that flash,
no, it's all gone wrong for Suning. SOFM eradicated. Now 3 players remaining for Suning. No smite on their side either. They're looking for a pick on Troll, but the damage just isn't there from Angel. Alistair is so damn tanky. Teleport available for Bin in 4 seconds when he respawns. There is a ward in the pit. He's going to go with the rest of his team. 2,000 on the Baron. Here we go. Castle looking for the smite, and the Baron will be taken. Can they get the fight though? Because Suning started things off with a kill, but it's Angel to be taken down by this rampaging horsey in the jungle. Looks like Suning have to back away. They lose the Baron and they lose the fight.
And Top Esports come out with it all. ends up being the fight victory and that Baron in their favor as well. And this is just beautiful from top. Being able to pick off Bean, turn that in towards Baron, and now you're struggling a little bit as SUNING. Already you were starting to see, look, yes, they're starting to win out in that side lane. Maybe that's a little glimmer of hope for them. They have 3 kills onto Hwanfeng. If this Kai'Sa can get going, she's great. But there's no one really there to enable. There's no one to set up these team fights in the manner that they want to. Because honestly, SUNING are built more around playing for the engage from top esports. But when Zhuo is able to get in behind SUNING like that, they cannot set up correctly, and you can see they quickly pick off the members of SUNING. Maybe JackeyLove looking for a bit more.
JackeyLove's always looking for a bit more. That is his motto. I want to revisit this Maokai pick for a second before the next fight kicks off, because I feel like we're just going to be action for the rest of the game now. Outside of the lane phase, outside of just the annoyance, what are we feeling about this Maokai pick? How is he going to function in the team?
I would have preferred to see something like a Thresh. I'm not the biggest fan of the Maokai. Like, I can understand what's in the Thresh. Maokai slots into that. Hey, he's great for disengage. He's great for counter engage. But that's not what's really working for SUNING right now. And unlike the Galio, it's not as simple as, hey, look, I control all this space right now, because there's ways to play around the Maokai ult a little bit better. And you can see the top esports are doing that very well. The difference for Maokai is, again, he wants the... Okay, Vin doesn't go. He wants the opponents to be like coming from one direction. He loves like front to back team fights. Same when you look at the likes of Angel. We kind of talked about this a little bit in the previous game. But when you're looking at top esports and how they've been taking these fights, it's been, hey, we got to pick into, okay, Zhuo's flashing into the backline, Karsa's coming in from the flank, 369 has the potential to come in for flanks in future fights as well, and it makes it a lot more difficult for this Maokai to operate in the manner that he wants, especially with the way that SUNING would like these fights.
It's a double swirl seed there, but no sleep going to come through from SOFM, and understandably so on that one. It would be a difficult one to follow up on. But SUNING are not looking to just let this tower go without a fight. In comes the roots out from On, but completely blocked up by JackeyLove. And the fact that you can block those roots as Samira means that this Maokai pick, even if it's a good pick elsewhere, really not a good pick in this matchup.
No, it's not working out for them at all. And I don't know if SUNING got caught out of it, but Zhuo goes in!
Zhuo, he's been looking for the engage this entire series, and he's finally found the perfect one. 369 stopping the rest of the team coming in, and SUNING, they just lose On with no answer available whatsoever. They're still trying to contest this one. 4 versus 5. Another knockup comes out from Zhuo. In they go, Bin with a kill to start things off, but it's answered by top esports as they all jump into the fray. But they're taken down. Hwanfeng is the one on the scene, and he's looking for more. He's looking for multi-kills as the triple comes on through, and Bin finishes the fight.
God, Zhuo, he giveth and then Zhuo taketh. He goes in, he gets the setup, they get the one pick. But this is where the style of SUNING is so much stronger. It's in these close quarter combats where you're able to control these zones with the Victor, with the, I mean, Maokai, who's passed away, but SOFM as well, having a lot more control there. And when Zhuo goes for that re-engage in that choke, SUNING know that they're in that perfect position. Angel gets this massive ultimate off, gets a whole heap of damage, and sets up beautifully for Hwanfeng to win out that team fight. Now SUNING getting control back, taking some of these towers. Very crucially as well, getting the Baron buff off of top esports and making sure they're not able to do any more with that buff.
Really, really impressive team fight coming out from SUNING across this series so far, especially Hwanfeng on this Kai'Sa looks amazing. I feel like there are 2 types of Kai'Sa players. There are the front to back, you know, whatever Kai'Sa players, and then there are aggressive assassin Kai'Sas. Hwanfeng is not afraid to pull the trigger on the killer instinct.
Watch this re-engage here though. The value you get out of the stun field coming through from Victor and that ultimate in these close quarters is insane. Like, very good job from SUNING to be able to disengage from JackeyLove. But when JackeyLove goes in, like, there's so much AoE damage that is in that area that he's zapped of all of his health very quickly. And then SUNING are able to follow up with Hwanfeng. And this is why Hwanfeng has been such an important part of SUNING. He's got that, well, pun intended, like killer instincts, but also his ability to read when he can flash in aggressively, how far forward he can go, has been so crucial to SUNING in winning out in these messy fights and skirmishes that so often happen in the open.
And this feels like SUNING have come in and they've done their homework, right? this feels like a strategy designed around making sure Samira can't do what Samira wants to do. Don't have time to talk about that because we've got a sleepy Knight in the mid lane here. On throws out some roots, but not much comes of it. 369 jumps to the rest of his team, and we do have a bit of a disengage. So, all things considered, we're looking at the Drake here. This would be Cloud Soul for top esports if they can get it in 20 seconds.
Suning, though, do have this push on mid lane, and maybe looking to run away with that.
They want to try and force this fight. Top esports are threatening that. Joel goes in onto SOFM, but a bit of damage traded is all that's going to happen. 369, though, silenced and taken down. Good start to the fight here for the side of Suning. Caster jumps in, but he doesn't get the fear onto anyone, and the damage is more than answered as Bin jumps into the backline, trying to run distraction, and the Hextech ultimatum is the end of the enemy's life. In they all go, and down they fall. Jackie Love doesn't have that life steal. Knight flashes out, but On's going to chase him down. Autos to Croak for a bit of health, but it's not enough. But it is enough for them to start to hammer away in the mid lane.
Angel is MVP in these fights. His control of everywhere the top esports is trying to approach Suning has been immaculate in this game, and that's what netted them the win there, and potentially the series win as well. As Suning, they're looking to end.
They are looking to snowball this one. Fong onto the towers. Knight is here, desperately trying to defend. Great Zhonya's to bait a lot of abilities out, but it is not enough to survive. One tower remaining. Oh, but SOFM goes down. It's an execute. And Knight has done it. He's managed to stop them.
Yeah, trading his life to kill the minions was the best call there. Making sure that there's no way that Suning are able to end. Now Suning have got a scamper with their tail between their legs, and top esports can walk straight over towards this dragon and get the soul for themselves, or even the Baron if that's what they want to.
It's like the Baron is the call right now for top esports, which is a little bit more dangerous because they will take some damage from this. Maybe Suning can re-engage. They won't have SOFM here, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're afraid of fighting. It looks like they're still too far away, though, because you can see Fong just leaving base, On moving over towards the dragon. Suning are going to trade neutral objectives by the looks of things.
And look, from top esports side of things, they've got to get use out of this battle, because right now, look at the scoreboard for Suning. 9-3 for this Camille. 10-0 for Fong. These players are massive. But again, watch this replay. Top esports, oh, you want to run through this little corridor? Cool. Here's this massive stun field that you can't walk through, and you've got to walk back. And this is just poke and damage consistently being put into top esports, separating the team so they're not able to follow up in the manner that they want to. And this has been so beautifully executed by Suning. Their team fighting in this series has been so damn clean.
It's absolutely beautiful to watch. And you could see Jackie Love going in there. He wanted that massive Samira ult, and it looked like it was almost possible. But the problem is, it's so late in the fight, and everyone's still going from Suning. So as soon as he goes in, he's just Goomba stomped into the floor and taken out. He doesn't have the opportunity to get the lifesteal off and make the giant teamfight play, and instead it's Fong who's making these giant teamfight plays. He's the AD carry that's shining today, and top esports, they're running out of lifelines right now. They managed to survive, they managed to hold their Nexus, but they have literally one Nexus tower remaining. That ain't a good look.
And look, I'm going to put my hands up. I was one of the biggest doubters of Suning coming in. I did not expect them to come through in spring. I mean, we were even joking about how, like, there's the summer studs talk about Suning where they do very well in summer, but they fall off in spring. They take time to come into it. And we were kind of talking about, like, before we came onto the cast today about how this is probably going to be the storyline that we're running with for Suning. They have wiped that off the board. They have silenced the doubters. This is Suning without Sword Art, and Suning are looking good.
They're looking fantastic right now. I'm over the moon. I will say, I put my hands up as well. Even I was saying this is going to be a top esports 2-0. I was well and truly on board with the top esports roster changes, but so far, Duo has not been able to make things happen. And let's be honest, it's not been like... I'm not going to try and give all of the credit here to On the side of Suning. I don't want to try and make judgments on the two support substitutions and make massive statements right now. We are still on day one. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But this is a really, really good sign for Suning that things haven't just fallen off completely. Because I think a lot of people, when you look at power rankings, for example, for the English cast, we had SUNING pretty low down for a lot of people. Some people not even putting him in the playoffs. Same for the Chinese side. Same for a lot of the power rankings I've seen. So this is really, really good to see that SUNING haven't just fallen off completely over the offseason.
Now, that being said, this is not SUNING have won and it's a 2-0 sweep. They still have to run out this game, and Top Esports are in definitely a position to fight back if they can find the correct fights. What they need to do, though, is draw SUNING out of these corridors where they're fighting, because we've seen 2 fights now that have happened in the jungle, and both times it's been Angel getting these great zone controls, same when you look at SOFM, and preventing Top Esports from trying to play these very aggressive all-in fights. I want to see them try and bring SUNING into River, find these flanks from Zhou where he's coming in from creative angles, same when I look at Karsa. That's how Top Esports are going to try and win out this game, but they need to find it now at the Dragon that's coming up in a minute 40 or at that next Baron 2.
That's going to be the big question. Obviously it is Cloud Drake, so realistically the actual soul is not that important, but the fights that can come from the Dragon itself, just it existing, are incredibly important, especially for SUNING, because one more team fight win and they've got this game in the bag. The question is, can they get that one more team fight win? Because with 35 minutes in now, the death timers are long enough, and to be honest, if the minion waves are in the right position, a team fight win for Top Esports, if it's clean, that could be the end of the game too.
True. And honestly, you've got options as SUNING here as well. Like, even if you don't want to take those team fights, you can have Bin just go and split push. Like, he's so far ahead as the Jax right now that, honestly, I think he just wins out in the side lane. But I like that he's sticking with the team and going, right, I mean, as we've won every single one of these fights, as long as we are smart in how we pick our fights and when we decide to engage, we should be able to continue.
Speaking of fights, Drove's been caught here. Just gets the knock up onto Bin to answer for what this started off as. Huanfeng is pretty far forward, takes a chunk, but he's okay. Bin walks out as well. Top Esports really wanted to punish that, but they don't quite find a window.
I also take it back after seeing the chunk that 369 is just taken out of Bin. 369 wins side lanes. Bin, stick with the team.
Yep, I can definitely get behind that sentiment as well. As Scuttle Crab going to be taken here by Bin, as 369 threatening in the mid lane. SOFM needs to be careful. He is not very tanky. He has the Zhonya's available, but even still, even with the Zhonya's, you got to be cautious on that Lilia, because you take one too many hits, you're going to go down. It's a very fragile champion. Bin going to be the one in the river right now, trying to set up some kind of engage for his team. He is not afraid to stand very aggressively. He's on that Camille, so you can do that. 369 is almost taken out immediately, but he survives for now, as Bin is the one who's managing to go into the GA, gets the kill on the enemy top lane, and JackeyLove goes into the backline. Huanfeng in the GA, and the rest of the team following up, but it's JackeyLove that's in trouble instead. Huanfeng survives as the rest of SUNING manage to protect him. It's Bin surviving. JackeyLove goes down after the GA. Zhuo is not long for this world either. Angel now chased down by Karsa, but he doesn't have the damage to finish the enemy mid laner off. A double kill for Angel, and Knight suddenly finds himself alone. SOFM wants to chase this one down, but I think Knight will get out with his life.
This is so beautiful. Oh, SOFM.
Hang on, I could have been wrong on that one. The dots are ticking here. SOFM 1v1 by the enemy mid laner. That was a little bit too much as he was trying to stop the recalls here. Knight has to teleport back into the base because SUNING are trying to close things out right here. The inhib will fall. There is one Nexus tower remaining. Knight has his shockwave available. It is all on his shoulders, as it always seems to be. I don't know if he's got what it takes to stop them ending the game. They jump in onto the Orianna just to end the game and clear the series.
And SUNING will find the exact same